Hey everyone, Vince here. Welcome to High Performance Driving 101 Part 2. Today we're going to get into some more advanced driving techniques and talk a little bit more about setup and combination corners. I want to go back through our first diagram going through a corner. You'll see that we are accelerating towards the corner till we get to our braking point. We hit our braking point to our turn-in point, which we call then our neutral, to the apex, and then accelerate out of the apex. Now, most drivers, especially professional drivers, will carry braking into the initial turn. This has a couple of advantages. One, it helps rotate the car because the car has to change its inertia. Right now, you're going straight, and then you have to make a turn. When you make a turn to the right, the energy wants to shift to the left. And so you need to approach a turn with a little brake to help rotate it into the corner. Now, how much pressure you want to apply and how long you want to hold your brake depends. It depends on your driving style and it depends on the corner. And this will change. It'll change from one race to another, even though the corners are similar. It'll even change from the first time you're on the track to the second time you're on the track. So you've got to be aware of these variations and these changes and modify your driving style to fit the need at the time. I found, and I have tried everything, the best way to get through a corner like this is to carry your brake fairly hard when you start your turn, but you have to be aware that the back end of the car is going to want to swap ends with you because you're transferring the weight to the front tires and you've taken it off the rear tires. So you've got to keep the balance as neutral as possible. Now, I don't carry brake all the way to the apex, and I may carry it 15-20% into the corner, maybe 50% in the corner. I personally never carry it more than 50%. I like being in a neutral place. I like the car to be at the 100% maximum speed by the time I'm halfway to the apex, and that what I mean by that is as fast as the car can possibly go between where I'm at and the apex. In this manner, I'm 30%, maybe 40% of my distance from the apex. My throttle is neutral. The car is not going to go any faster than I'm going into and through this corner, and I am ready to accelerate 100% as soon as I hit the apex. And of course, the other issue is traffic, diving in underneath someone going into a corner. We will talk about that at a later date under more advanced racing conditions. This diagram shows us how to determine where the initial apex is. I'll take an aerial shot and draw out the track and then make sketches like this to determine where apexes are throughout the track as I am doing my studying before I go to the race. Now, of course, you're going to modify this when you're driving. You may, for some reason or another, want to take a later apex or an earlier apex. It just depends. But this is a starting point. This next diagram shows us actually two corners, but we're going to take it as one. We're going to take it as an increasing in radius corner. Now, you'll see that you're going to come in and take a later apex as you go through this corner, so the beginning of it's fairly tight. And then when you hit the apex, you're going to accelerate hard because the corner opens up for you. You can see from this diagram where the apex is. And look at the distance from the time you start your turn in to the apex, and then compare that to the distance from the time you exit the corner and you're completely out of it. There's quite a greater difference of acceleration. And again, this goes back to the fastest way around the track is full throttle. And this is where you want to take really a lot of it, or you want to take real advantage of being full throttle coming out of a corner like this. You can gain a lot of time. You have a lot of leeway in these type of corners. This next diagram shows a decrease in radius, and it is a single corner. And you can see that a corner like this you can break deeper into because you're going to take a late apex. And that gives you the advantage going into the corner because you're not going to be able to exit the corner like you would be able to on an increasing radius turn. So the final turn I want to discuss in this session is the S-turn. The S-turn involves some real unique changes in the inertia of the car as you go through these series of corners. When you go through S-turns, you're transferring weight from one side to the other and then back to the other side, then back to the other side in a rapid rate. The car can't get to a neutral zone and stabilize itself before you're making it go through the next series of weight transfers. Now this adversely affects the car and obviously going through the corner because you have all this inertia going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So the way to approach S-turns are to go in easy and come out hard. And so you want to go in a little slower setup and then accelerate going through and out the corners. So that wraps up this session. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, I look forward to seeing you on race day. Have a great week.